Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and a new episode on the 2017 Renault Clio. I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's subscribed already. Across all of our videos we've almost hit 1,500 views, which is incredible. We've only been going for a couple of months. So without ado, let's get started on this new episode and hope you guys enjoy it. And if you haven't subscribed already, hit that button and please subscribe. So just on our way over to Renault, Martin's just emailed me to say that the parts are in that I've ordered. So we're picking up the bonnet today and the filler pipe for the washer bottle, which seems to be the most difficult part to track down as a used part. The only one I could find on eBay with the washer bottle was like, I think over £100 once delivered. So yeah, so ultimately we've got those two parts. I also ordered off eBay a pattern part for the front impact bar. I'll do a quick video of that in a second and show you, but the quality of it when it turned up was just horrific. So I emailed the guy straight away. He was apologetic, did a full refund, said don't worry about sending the part back because it's a substandard, there's no point trying to kind of repair it to the point where he could resell it. He said just bin it and be done with it. But yeah, it was really low quality, so I'm going to order an impact bar while we're at Renault today and sort out the wiring loom. That's the other bit that I must get done because we're at the stage now where I have everything. So I managed to get a wing the other day, so I've now got a wing in the right colour. It's in good condition, needs a bit of a polish, just take some little hairline scratches out of it, but that's good to go. So we've got pretty much everything. Inner wheel arch liner, that's the other bit I need to get for the near side, so I'll get that ordered as well. And then yeah, we're complete, and it's just a case of getting the car over to the body shop, start doing the welding work, pull that little bit of the flitch damage where it's just curved in on itself, and then we can get it all bolted on and get the build finished, which is really exciting stuff. So let's get over to Renault now, get that part, and then I will catch back with you guys in a minute. So that's all the parts picked up, and I can't thank Martin enough because he's just been so helpful through the whole process of trying to get all the different parts. He's sort of done us the best pricing he possibly can, and then today he quite possibly might have pulled the cat out of the bag and he's given me this. Now you remember that the harness that connects to the wiring loom on the bumper from the engine harness, that was damaged. I mentioned it to him today and he basically said to me, I've got a tray full of old wiring looms up the back if you want to have a look through it, and we've pulled out two connectors which quite possibly could be the one. So I'm not going to get my hopes up too much, but if that works then we've fixed a bit of a conundrum, a bit of a big problem for me, because I think we were looking at like £200 for a new loom for the engine bay, and ultimately I don't really want to spend £200 if it's just one little block connector that needs to be swapped out. So we've got the bonnet in the back and we're now straight on our way over to the body shop, so which is on my paint, and I'm going to drop that off with them. Their turnaround is usually really good, so I'm hoping sort of middle of next week, so we're Wednesday today, I'm hoping sort of Wednesday next week we might have that back, and then we can get that fitted to the car, because it will just improve the look of it without that horrible gash and crumpled zone on the front of the bonnet that's on there already. And also we can do a bit of a check of the alignment with the bonnet hinges, make sure that they're all okay. So I'll catch you back in a bit and we'll see if that wire actually works. So he's done it. I have to say, Martin, absolute legend. So the connector that we got from Renault, which was in his parts bin, loads of spare looms, is the right connector. I know this looks a bit messy. It took me a while to figure it out, and I didn't want to do a time lapse because it would essentially just been me playing around with a load of wires. But checked out all the pinouts, which should have been on the original connector. Matched all the earths up. We've got a multimeter, and we checked the pins from the end of this connector to here to work out where they all went, labelled them up. Then we did a circuit test to make sure where the power was coming from, so when you turn the fog lights on, when you got a 12-volt feed come through. Labelled it all up. Took a couple of times of just switching a couple of wires around. I think the green and the blue wire kind of threw me at one point because they were reversed with another cable. But yeah, let me show you, it actually works. So just to prove everything's off at the moment, and then we'll stick the key in, and then ignition's on, turn the lights on and turn the fog lights on, and now so we've got the DRL light working and the fog light working, DRL light working and the fog light working. I test fitted our replacement headlight, really nice condition one, that all works absolutely fine. And then when you turn the fog lights off, I'll figure out how to do that, everything goes off at the front, but then when you do this with two hands, excuse me a second, when you start the car, the lights are off, the daytime running lights are now both working. So definitely cracked that. I'm really happy that we got it working. Turn that off, I don't want the engine running for too long. Yeah, so I thought that was going to be an absolute ball ache to fix, and it wasn't very easy trying to match up all the wiring and everything else, but we haven't got to buy a new loom. I had a quote for a loom today from Martin at Parts, and I think he said with a bit of discount you're still looking at like over £200, which is a lot of money, and you'd have to trace that loom all the way back through, take it all the way out from the back of the engine all the way down here, and that would just been a massive job. So to get that sorted out, I'm really happy. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to buy some actual shrink electrical like tape that goes over it, and then what I'll do is basically heat that up, make all these connectors really nice, and then we'll get some more of this conduit here and this flexible conduit, run that down to there and just make that look as OEM as possible. But yeah, it works. On to the next bit. So we could probably call this another episode of Chris's muck-ups, or something like that, without swearing. You'll see I've got two impact bars in front of me. I basically tried to save some money. Excuse the Peppa Pig house in the background. I tried to save some money on some of the parts, and I thought, well, I look on eBay, and this is a pattern part, like I mentioned earlier in the car, and yeah, it's terrible. So there should be a thread in there for putting in a bolt. The overall quality is a bit cheap, and there's some dings already in it. The welds are not very good. The drill holes are pretty poor, specifically ones like that. And this piece cost me £75. I'm not going to say who I bought it from, because at the end of the day they were extremely good. I explained I wasn't happy with it. They gave me my money straight back. They said, don't bother sending it back, it's not suitable for your car, we don't want it back, just scrap it. And I thought, right, okay, that's really decent. They paid me the money straight back. So then I did the right thing and went to Renault and spoke to Martin, and he basically said, oh, I've got one of those in stock. So I thought, if I bring them back and give you a comparison of the two, this feels solid, this feels quite cheap. Obviously with the Renault one, it's all built to the right specs. There's that threaded hole I mentioned to you, and all of the cuts are done properly. So they're not like that, where it's like rough around the edge. It's rounded, it's done properly, and I will feel a lot happier having this piece on the car. So, in summary, I should have just bought from Renault in the first place. It didn't cost me a massive amount more. I was just trying to keep things down to a budget, but do your research, guys. I looked through the feedback on the guy from Facebook, and from eBay, and it was all good. I could see loads of positives. It looked like a reputable company, but ultimately, if you try and scrimp on a few bits, and I'll never ever scrimp on a safety bit again, you're going to get a lower quality part. Anyway, back on with the video. That's me told off. Okay, we're back, and we've got some extra parts now to fit to the car. I've managed to track down all the bits and get those ordered that I need to sort out this connector. Obviously I've done basically just a inline connector on each wire, just to make sure that we got it going to the right pin out to connect back to the bumper. I've got some shrink wrap, which basically will take all these off individually, solder them up and put the heat wrap over the top of it just to kind of seal those back in. So we've got all the bits there that we need to go. Then we're going to move on to the headlights. I've bought a new set of bulbs, and the reason for this is not to improve the performance, but for me just to improve the look. So when the DRL lights are on, they're really sort of white, bright light, and all the other bulbs were kind of yellow in colour. So we bought all white light bulbs, or close to white light bulbs. Interestingly, the indicator bulbs, and we'll get to that in a minute when we take everything apart, but a really interesting connector I've never seen before. So they have these. It took me a while to track some down, but I got some off eBay, so hopefully these pan out okay, because these are LEDs, and there's actually a special connector that locks in, twists and holds into place, but I've not actually seen that sort of type before. I'll post links in the description to all the different bulb types that I've ordered, just so everyone knows exactly what's going back onto the car. So let's get started with the electrical wiring, get all this tidied up and soldered up into place, and then move on to test fitting the lights for the bumper, and we'll just put the headlights in position loosely. This is just so that when we have the chassis work done, which is hopefully going to be done this weekend, we can then just throw everything on, and the car, in theory, as long as I've not missed anything, will be complete and ready to go back together in its entirety. So let's crack on with that wiring. So that's all the wires soldered up, the heat shrink over the top of them. Never done that before, so it was a bit of a learning curve. Now going to throw the two headlights in, get the bumper lined up, get that connected, make sure the wires are still working correctly, and then we'll do a bulb swap. There we go, so that's everything connected and working. Both DRLs, the front fog lights and the main lights. As you can see, the colour difference between those is a little bit off. So let's swap out these bulbs, get some white vision ones in there, and see if we can make this look a bit better. so I've changed all the bulbs on this side of the car and left them standing on that side. Let's see if this side's any brighter and if we've achieved a better look once the car's complete. Oh yeah, definitely. So I don't know how well it's going to show up on the camera, but the light down here is a lot whiter now. So if we can compare that to this side, where it's still got quite a yellow tinge to it, that's much brighter. That's a heck of a lot whiter than that one. So I don't know how easy it's going to show up, but it definitely in this light looks a lot whiter. In fact, I'll turn the lights off. See if that helps at all. So yeah, not sure if you'll be able to see it. Let's check the indicators. See if that's any better. Oh yeah. I mean, you can see how much brighter the LED one is. It's like really powerful. Right, so that's the other light switched over. Do one final test, make sure everything's okay, and then I'm just going to put some electrical tape around those soldered connectors just to give it a bit more support. And we're pretty much done, ready for body shop. The light source is 100 times better. Way more white. It just fits a lot better. I honestly don't understand why we're still installing bulbs which are kind of yellow in finish if you can get something that's that good. So let's bang the main beam on. Oh yeah, all working really nicely, bright lights. You can even see the light source on there. To me that looks really white, to you it might look a bit yellow. Let's just turn that off, we'll hold it on for too long. And then we'll knock that off. Knock off the fogs. Double check the indicators. Oh yeah, ridiculously bright. So just done a quick wash on it, nothing fancy, just to get all the dirt off before it goes over for the chassis work to be done. Had a good look around it, nothing really what I wasn't expecting. This is basically like a low level scuff that'll buff out. This is transfer. The only bit I hadn't seen was this little spot here on the rear bumper. It's actually cracked, so we need to get this side anyway. This is going to have like a smart repair on it, so I'll just take the whole bumper down and get that all resprayed. Other than that, and that little ding that we knew about on the front of that door there, considering it had all those marks all over it, all the white pen marks, it's pretty good. The one thing I've just noticed though, I didn't see this before, this lettering here, it's actually written on the inside of the windscreen, so it's probably why it's like written so badly, because he's had to write it backwards, or she's had to write it backwards. And then this little bit here, this is just like really on there, but as you can see, that'll come off. I'll just get a chemical on that and wipe that down and get the residue of the glue from the sticker off. But other than that, it's in pretty damn good condition. I say once I swap that bonnet over with the new one, that'll be a big transformation, and then hopefully Saturday all this mangled stuff will be gone. So I was going to end the video there, but then I got a little delivery. I thought I'd just finish off this episode all focused on kind of like little upgrades to the lights. And one thing I did notice that is quite popular on the Mk4 Clio forum is the indicators on here. They look a bit boring and a bit outdated, and again you can see the yellow bulb in there, so sorry, the orange bulb in there, so I'm not overly impressed by it. I think it could look better, so I've bought a set of dynamic indicators. I've already replaced the one on the other side just to test, but I couldn't find any many videos online on how to do it, so I just had to figure it out. They are labelled up left and right, which is quite handy. You've got a little connector on the back there. I shouldn't probably have the camera facing the sun. Got a little connector just on the back there, and that basically plugs into what would be the standard bulb, draws power from that, and then you get this nice little dynamic sweep rather than the standard indicator. The other benefit you've got is the fact that because they're all tinted, I'll show you, it'll black it out, which is quite nice. So you get two of the indicators and you get yourself a trim removal tool in the kit. So let's get this one fitted and I'll run through how I've done it. So first thing I did is to remove the lens by pushing it over to one side. I can half imagine that there is going to be a ton of spiders behind this based on the amount of cobwebs. Yeah, there's the first one. Goodbye. Just making sure that you don't drop the lens when you pull it out. So just pop that off. And then on the back, you've just got a single connector. You push in there, push up on that, and that releases. Then you've got, I can show this a bit better. You've basically got two tabs. You've got one up here and one here. They need to be pushed out quite a way to push off, but the actual easiest way I found to do it is if you turn the mirror the other way around, pop out from the bottom first and then push these two tabs through. It actually lifts off and sort of upwards. So let's have a crack at doing that. Right, so the trim tool that they sent me was shocking. So let's try a better one without damaging the lens on this, sorry, the mirror cover on this. Okay. Almost. Right. That was close. Right, so now that's off, you just literally lift this old one out, pull the connector off the back and pull the bulb out. Get your new one, hook it into place, tuck the cable down the bottom there so it's not in the way of everything, push the lens into position, and then without breaking it, put the cover back on. There you go, simple as that. So that's now one dynamic indicator, and the other one I did earlier. I think the car's unlocked, so we should be able to see if they work. Oh yeah, loads better. So that's a massive improvement over the stock again. And now that does bring us to the end of the current episode. So like I just said, that brings us to the end of another episode. Thanks again to everyone who's watching. Thank you for all the comments, the likes, and if you've subscribed, brilliant. If you haven't subscribed, please take a second after watching this just to hit that subscribe button, because that really helps me and helps support the channel. Hopefully that is the penultimate episode before we get all the chassis work done, and the next one you're going to see is obviously with it all repaired, and then we can start to put that car back together and get it back on the road. Just want to say again a massive thank you to everyone who supports the channel, and I'll catch you in the next video.